G'day darlings, New York in the house. Obviously I know I'm Australian and not from New York. So today we are doing everything spice bagels. Now for everyone who doesn't know what everything spice bagel is, which is for me as an Australian before I came here, I had never heard of them. Bagels obviously, but not everything spice. Everything spice consists of poppy seeds, sesame seeds, sometimes black sesame seeds too, minced garlic, minced onion, and salt. So those are the basic compounds of your everything spice mix, which I have got pre-packaged here, which is winner winner chicken dinner. And so in case I was reading a recipe and someone was like, they're full of basic things that most people have in their pantries. I'm like, I do not have poppy seeds in my pantry, y'all, so. Now, things to know with bagels. There's a few things you need to know before you work with bagels. One, boom, you need to get a good bread flour. You need to get bread flour. Bread flour has a very high protein content, and which makes it sufficient and perfect actually for bagels, because you need that dense chewiness. You don't want this light, you don't want light, airy, fluffy situation flour, which would be all-purpose flour / plain flour. You don't want that in your bagels. You need a good bread flour, so get bread flour. You can't skip on that. And two, another thing you need to know for bagels is that they need a water bath. That is necessary. The water bath step is necessary. Please don't skip it. It's imperative for many reasons, because you'll basically have a couple of quarts or several liters of water and about a quarter of a cup of honey. Some people put brown sugar or malt barley syrup or whatever, or maple syrup, whatever you've got, but something sweet. What the honey will do to the bagel is it will give it a really nice shine. And what it also does, what the boiling water does because you'll boil it for 1 minute either side, the water helps kind of cook the outer layer of the bagel, so it kind of will hold its shape and will ensure it keeps its gorgeous shape in the oven, so it's not going to fluff up like the Michelin Man. So you need that for those reasons. You need that gorgeous shine that you want on your bagel and to keep it in its shape. So those are imperative steps. You don't want to skip that. It is very important. Okay, darlings, so I'll quickly break it down with you, the ingredients that you need before we really get into it. You need 4 cups of bread flour. You will also need 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 3/4 teaspoons of yeast. I'm using like an instant quick rising yeast, and 1.5 cups of warm water. Now, just a reminder, the water needs to be between 100 and 110 Fahrenheit, or 38 and 43 Celsius for all of you people who are Australians or who use metric and all that other fun certification. So what we're going to do is I've got 1.5 cups of water here. Brilliant, and that's the right temperature. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to whisk in, and I'm just going to gently whisk all that in. It's all coming out. There we go. I want to get all of that out. There we go. I'm going to just gently whisk this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with a towel, and I'm just going to let it sit for 5 minutes, just so the yeast can activate. Okay. Then gently mixed. And I'm going to cover this, and I'm going to let it sit for 5 minutes. So, see you in 5 minutes. Okay, so that's been about 5 minutes now. Beautiful thing. It's all lovely. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our flour and our sugar and our salt. Add all of that in. And I'm going to mix this for like 2 to 3 minutes, just a couple of minutes. Now this will look dry. It will look dry, but don't even stress. That's perfectly normal. Now, some people will probably use this with a dough attachment, like a dough hook. But I personally, one, I don't have one, and 2, I prefer to do it this way, because there comes a point after it needs it for a few minutes, the dough becomes too heavy and too strong for the dough hook to keep mixing it. So I'm like, hey, it's just easy if I start it this way and I keep on this way. So that's just me. If you do have a dough mixer, you can put it in there for a few minutes, but then it's going to get to a point where it gets too much. So we're going to mix this for a couple of minutes. Okay, so I've been mixing this for a few minutes now. I'm going to turn this out to a lightly floured surface. And I'm going to knead it for about 5-6 minutes, give or take, approximately. As you can see, the dough does look dry. Let's see if I can get a closer up for you. Hold up. See, it does look really dry, but that's okay because it is going to get all of its gorgeous moisture and all of that good sponge intensification. It's all going to kind of pull up. So I've kneaded this for a few minutes now, so it's all lovely, and it's all, see how it's a nice cohesive dough. It's nice and it's quite dense. And I know a lot of you probably like turned off the whole kneading aspect, but this dough is a very dense dough and it's very hard, and it's too hard for most mixers to mix this. So yeah, it's easy. It's a good little arm workout. And what you do is you'll get a large bowl now and you'll spray it with some cooking oil, and you're going to put your dough inside here, and you're just going to kind of put this around so it gets all up there. So every part of this dough is covered. So it's all sexy and covered in that oil like it's about to go sunbake. Even though it's not. Just going to kind of cover that. So it's all kind of covered with the dough now, all covered with oil. Rigidage. You are going to cover this with cling wrap or foil or towel, whatever you've got. I personally prefer cling wrap. And you're going to let it rise for 60 to 90 minutes, room temp, or until it's doubled in size. So if you're in a really cool climate, one trick I did learn was turning your dryer on for a few minutes, the clothes dryer on for a few minutes, and then putting dough in there to rise, which is really like efficient. But yeah, just do what you gotta do. You'll cover this 60 to 90 minutes or until it's doubled in size. And yeah. See you in 90 minutes, fam. Hey, darling. So it's been about 90 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes by that. And you can see how this has doubled in size. It looks really lovely. So I'm just going to punch out the air, any air that has accumulated. Put this on my surface here. What I'm going to do, because we've let this rest for like an hour and 30 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, just until it's doubled in size. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, I've punched out any air and I'm going to divide this up. I'm just going to shape our bagels, just kind of, they're not going to be perfect, but you just kind of roughly shape them to a circle. And you're going to place them on your prepared baking trays, which, as I said, they're going to be covered either. I have a silicone baking mat, or you can cover them with parchment paper, just to stop them from sticking. Either or works perfectly. And then what you're going to do is once you've shaped all of these, you're going to just cover them for a minute with a clean kitchen towel and just let them rest while you're getting the water bath ready. Okay, darling, so we have, this is our water bath here. This is the boiling water and the honey. And you're going to put a few of these in at a time, and you're just going to boil them for 1 minute either side. But you want, when you put the bagels in, you want to make sure that they have enough room to kind of float and bounce around a bit. So I'm just going to put in 3. And I'm going to boil them for a minute either side. Okay, so after you've boiled your bagels, you're going to get your egg wash, which is just 1 egg white and a bit of water. You're going to brush them generously with the egg wash. So you've boiled them for 1 minute either side, and you've preheated your oven to 425 Fahrenheit. Gonna brush these with the egg wash and sprinkle the seasoning over, or dip them in. So we've brushed our bagels with the egg wash, which, as I said, is the egg white and a splash of water. You're gonna sprinkle this on, sprinkle your mix on, or you can dip, if you want to have it in a bowl, you can dip it into. Either way, give it a good sprinkling. Make sure you get all of it covered, all of the sides. What you can even do, what I like to do, is just get all this extra up. Get it all coated and looking sexy. And then you're gonna pop these into the oven. Okay, darling, so we've let these bake in the oven for 20 minutes, and these gorgeous little things look so flippin' sexy. They're just delicious, they're hot, so you're gonna take them off your pan, or whether it's the baking tray, or whether you have parchment paper, or whatever you had. Like me, the silicone mat, you're gonna take them off and you're gonna let them cool down for 20 minutes, and then they're done. And that, ladies and gents, boys and girls, is how you make everything spice bagels. The house smells deliciously yummy, and the savoriness and the goodness is just outstanding. There you go, thanks for watching.